Now on the CTV News at 5, Alberta's Premier will talk about the economy in a televised address tonight. Plus, why Prince Andrew has been arrested. And who will headline the Lethbridge Polytechnic Speaker Series.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. A new outreach program will be soon hitting the streets of Lethbridge. It will provide help to the most vulnerable after other support groups have closed their doors for the day. Quinn Keenan has more.
Kima PPCN, or Kindness to Others, is a group dedicated to helping those suffering from addiction and homelessness. The group has operated recovery camps in the past, but will now take its support to the streets.
We have compassion. We accept people for who they are, despite the choices that they're going through. And with that kind of outreach service, everybody gets that dignity.
2 teams of 5 will patrol the streets of Lethbridge between 11 at night and 7 in the morning. There are no other service providers available between those times. The teams will be out providing much needed support at a crucial time of day.
We're there to look out for the people. If somebody's on the nod, we have our people trained up and then we'll get them to safety. That's our primary focus.
Funding for the project comes from the Indigenous Reconciliation Fund. $270,000 was approved for the outreach program during the winter and 7-day recovery camps during the summer.
So we have the opportunity to go out, meet people where they're at, offer people some respite, some kindness, a place to be who you are.
While other outreach programs do what they can for Lethbridge's most vulnerable, more support is always welcome, especially for those caught outside on a cold winter night.
As time goes on, I'm so glad that people like this are here to help us, because truth be told, we need all the help we can out here, it's not easy, especially during these winter months, right?
The outreach group plans to begin operations within the coming days. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Now, the city's 2025 point-in-time count found 504 people in Lethbridge were experiencing homelessness. A snowmobiler was killed in an avalanche near Fernie on Tuesday. The incident comes as Avalanche Canada is warning of considerable conditions in southern BC and throughout the interior. Carson Marsouk reports.
An avalanche Tuesday afternoon near Fernie turned deadly after a snowmobiler became buried in the snow.
The outcomes of incidents like these in small communities can be felt far and wide.
2 snowmobilers were riding in the Matheson Creek area when one of them triggered an avalanche while climbing a slope. Elk Valley RCMP and Fernie Search and Rescue responded to the scene.
But just with the avalanche conditions, it was a high hazard avalanche risk at that point. And just time of day, they weren't able to immediately respond.
One of the riders was buried. His body was recovered on Wednesday.
He had a transponder on him. He had appropriate clothing for the weather, stuff like that. He was geared properly, helmet, all that sort of stuff was on him.
The slide comes after a recent snowstorm elevating the risk of avalanches throughout the Rocky Mountains.
What's driving that avalanche danger rating is the combination of recent new snow falling on a complex and weak upper snowpack.
Search and rescue groups are urging caution when venturing into the backcountry. Survival under the snow is about 90% for the first 15 minutes, but diminishing 50% every 15 minutes after.
A transceiver, a probe, and a shovel. And of course, anyone can go down to the store and buy those things, but you also need to know how to use them. That time frame of 15 minutes becomes very short by the time you've got your shovel out, assembled your probe, switch your transceiver to search.
And he says refreshing those skills every winter can make the biggest difference in an emergency.
The most likely positive outcome is going to occur from what we call companion rescue. That is to say that the people on scene perform the rescue themselves. And the vast majority of responses that Fernie Search and Rescue respond to for avalanche incidents are helping people who've been injured in avalanches but have been rescued by their partners.
There's been 2 fatal avalanches this winter. Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Avalanche Canada recommends checking its forecast every time you venture out, as conditions can very quickly change. The ratings can be found at avalanche.ca. Well, let's bring Danielle Savoni in to talk about the deep freeze we're in right now. Danielle?
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. Let's be honest. We're going to be warming up a little bit. It'll be a slow warm up, so it's still going to be cold for the next few days. In fact, wind chills will get back into the -30s tonight and for tomorrow morning as well for most communities in the far south. At least we don't have the extreme cold warning that's in place, and that's really in place from Red Deer and north, as you can see here. Just taking a quick look at temperatures and wind chills. Wind chill values are in the blue here. -27 is what it feels like in Pincher Creek, -28 in Claresholm, -30 in Lethbridge, and -24 in Medicine Hat. It's going to get a little colder before it starts to get a little warmer. I'll show you that longer range forecast in just a bit, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. Now, Lethbridge police are asking for the public's help locating a man wanted on multiple outstanding warrants. Warrants have been issued for the arrest of 33-year-old Jonathan Milton Janis, who is charged with sexual assault and 2 counts of breaching conditions of a sentencing order. Anyone with information is asked to contact Lethbridge Police or Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers will pay cash for information leading to an arrest. Shock in the UK today as the King's brother, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, was arrested by police on his 66th birthday and later released. The former Prince Andrew is under investigation for misconduct related to allegations that as Special British Trade Envoy, he shared sensitive information with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
Police stand outside Sandringham Estate, home to former Prince Andrew, later seen leaving a police station in this vehicle. The arrest on suspicion of misconduct in public office comes after police said they were looking into allegations Mountbatten Windsor had passed on documents to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein while he was working as a trade envoy.
It truly is a seismic moment for this country, and I think for the monarchy as well.
Sir, what's your reaction to your brother's arrest?
King Charles wasn't answering questions Thursday about his little brother, but released a statement saying he learned the news with the deepest concern and the law must take its course. Mountbatten Windsor spent a decade as trade envoy. He made about a dozen visits to Canada in that period. Emails released in the Epstein files suggest he shared UK government reports in 2010. Mountbatten Windsor has always denied wrongdoing.
Whether those details that were passed on by Andrew to Epstein were all part of his job and part of his responsibilities, well, that's an open question. However, the official guidance for trade envoys was that they have a duty of confidentiality.
The family of Virginia Giuffre says the arrest is a win for Epstein victims. She died by suicide in May and in 2022 settled a lawsuit accusing the former prince of sexually abusing her as a teenager.
I think we're very hopeful that this is the start of the domino effect. This is where the house of cards starts falling.
Police released a short statement after the former prince was seen leaving the police station, saying he was released under investigation with some police searches of royal property still underway. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, the Premier is set to address Albertans tonight with a major focus on the economy. Alberta is already projecting a deficit of more than $6 billion for this fiscal year, about $1.2 billion higher than originally forecast in Budget 2025. The province built its books around West Texas Intermediate oil averaging $68 US per barrel. Every $1 drop in oil can mean hundreds of millions in lost provincial revenue. Prices dipped as low as $55 late last year. They're now hovering around $66, still volatile. TD economists are forecasting closer to $58 per barrel for the first quarter, well below the budget assumption.
Just wanting people to brace themselves that just like every other province and the federal government and virtually every jurisdiction around the world, there's unfortunately going to be deficits until we start seeing some oil prices turn around and getting new production online.
The silver lining, Alberta remains in a stronger fiscal position than most provinces. Economists point to the lowest net debt to GDP ratio in the country and the lowest debt servicing costs. Still, the province's bottom line remains tied to oil. You can watch the Premier's speech right here on CTV News at 6:45. Signs of the Alberta separatist movement have appeared south of the border in Yuma, Arizona. Stay Free Alberta posted this image online calling on snowbirds to show up at an event and sign their petition aimed at triggering a referendum. In a statement to CTV News, Elections Alberta says signatures collected outside the province are allowed. After several dry years, the province says early findings in 2026 are showing Alberta's precipitation levels are bringing back needed moisture across all corners of the province. The majority of the mountain snowpack sites surveyed are reporting levels above or well above normal. According to the province, it's good news downstream too. The province says the Milk River Basin is currently forecasted to see normal river volumes. The Bow and Oldman River Basins are forecasted to see river volumes ranging from normal to above normal. The province will continue snowpack surveys until June. A Humboldt Broncos bus crash survivor will headline the Lethbridge Polytechnic's 2026 speaker series. Ryan Strachnitsky will share his personal journey to recovery and spread the message of positivity and motivation for those looking to adapt and change their lives for the better. Strachnitsky was among 13 people who were injured in the 2018 Humboldt Broncos bus crash. 15 others were killed, including Lethbridge's Logan Boulay. The Polytechnic speaker series, hosted by Excite Lethbridge, aims to educate attendees, engage the community, and provide opportunities for thoughtful dialogue.
Ryan's going to share his story of the challenges he's been through and just his mindset of positivity. And if Ryan can do that every day, given what he's faced, then why can't we, right? So just leaving with that mindset and just the positivity of adversity and adaptability.
If you're going to succeed at anything in life, you got to persevere, and you can't let things get in the way, and persistence is everything.
The event runs March 4th at the Lethbridge Trade and Convention Center. Tickets are still available. It is time for our first break. When we come back, Danielle will have your 5-day forecast. Plus, we look at the troubling trend of rising psychosis rates in Canada when we return.
All right, looking outside, a really pretty looking day, but certainly a frigid day, and the frigid weather is sticking around for a little while longer. We're going to start our slow increase here, and I say slow because we're still going to have wind chills in the -30s in through tomorrow morning as well, and in the -20s by tomorrow afternoon. Okay, let's look at where we're sitting right now in the far south. You're at -25 in Pincher Creek with the wind chill, -29 in Lethbridge, and in those lower -20s for a wind chill in Medicine Hat at the moment. All right, there are a couple things going on with regards to snowfall. Not sure why we're showing snowfall here, so let me reset these graphics. But basically what we're looking at is the cold sticking around, and we're going to see a couple snowflakes. We're not looking at any real accumulation from this. What we're looking at is getting just some flurries for tomorrow morning. All right, let's replay these graphics here so we can get that going. It's definitely not the dangerous cold that they're looking at to central Alberta, where there is extreme cold warnings in place. But in the south, it's a little more reasonable and a little less frigid. Okay, looking at the further forecast here and showing you the radar, you can see that little bit of snowfall near Spokane in the States. That's going to push in, and some of it will make its way over the mountains. So we are going to see a little bit of this moisture as we head to tomorrow. So I'm just going to give you the timeline here. It will build in tonight to the mountains near the Pincher Creek area, especially closer to the BC border. And then it'll push into Lethbridge and up Highway 2 for the morning hours, and later in the morning pushing into Medicine Hat. Again, it's a quick mover. It's nothing significant, but it's something to be aware of, that it may reduce visibility a little bit and provide a little light dusting in some isolated areas. All right, East Kootenay, wind chill of -14 tonight. That's where you're starting tomorrow morning, -14, but getting up to a high of -2 tomorrow with mainly sunny skies. So a nice day in the East Kootenay area. Wind chill of -35 overnight in Crow's Nest Pass. That's what you're looking at to kick off the day tomorrow, but by the afternoon with the wind chill, it will feel like -15, and you can expect some flurries tonight and tomorrow morning. Medicine Hat -30 with the wind chill tonight and tomorrow morning. -18 is what it will feel like in the afternoon, and there is that chance of late morning and early afternoon flurries. At Lethbridge, same idea with the flurries, but by the afternoon it will feel more like -16, so that's an improvement. By Saturday and Sunday, our daytime highs highs will be in the minus double digits, but it will come with lots of sunshine.
Now to the latest on a troubling medical trend. Researchers have found rates of psychosis are climbing in recent generations. Pauline Chan reports.
The study looked at more than 12 million people born in Ontario between 1960 and 2009, of whom 152,587 were diagnosed with a psychotic disorder like schizophrenia.
Auditory or visual hallucinations, seeing or hearing things that aren't there. People can also have intense paranoia. So they might think that people are out to get them.
The findings?
More recent birth cohorts seem to be experiencing an earlier age of diagnosis of psychosis and schizophrenia, and actually cumulatively more of it.
And Dr. Daniel Myron says the increase is striking.
What proportion of the generation or the birth cohort has been diagnosed with schizophrenia by age 30? And that's up almost 40%.
Some of the reasons behind this? Myron says the age of birth parents is rising, and that's known to be an increased risk factor for psychosis.
There's been a large rise in opioids and synthetic stimulants like methamphetamines and cannabis and the potency of cannabis, and more recently, interest in hallucinogens.
And increasing urban populations.
People living in more urban centers or more dense places, and for reasons that are not fully understood, seem to have a higher rate of psychotic disorders.
Psychotic disorders are relatively rare, affecting about 2% of the population, but the impact is wide-reaching.
People who have a chronic psychotic disorder have a reduced life expectancy. They have profound implications for their social interactions, for their work.
And patients require frequent, regular contact with the healthcare system.
And, that's compounded on a mental health system in Canada that generally is, under-resourced.
The good thing, says Myron, is that early diagnosis is improving, and in Ontario, the growth of early intervention programs for psychosis has led to some 50 clinics in the province, adding that further research is needed. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, how some hockey organizations are trying to keep hockey parents in line. Sports is next. It's a rivalry that's dominated women's hockey, and today's Olympic game did not disappoint, even though Canada didn't win gold. Scott Hurst reports.
Team USA is the Olympic champion in women's hockey. It is a devastating loss for the Canadian women, who are looking to end a 7-game losing streak to their rivals. Canada will still leave Milano Cortina with a silver medal. The win for the Americans puts them back on top of the podium after losing the gold medal match to Canada at the Beijing Games 4 years ago.
It's so enormous, the Olympic Games, right? Every shift, every period.
Heading into the game, fans on both sides were ready to witness another chapter in this bitter rivalry, and it was Canada who allowed their fans to believe first. No goals in the opening frame, but very early in the second period, the red and white opened the scoring, while Team USA was on the power play. 27-year-old Kristen O'Neill from Oakville, Ontario, put Canada in the lead with the short-handed goal, only the second goal Team USA had allowed all tournament. But late in the third, with just over 2 minutes to go, the USA finally broke through. America's captain Hillary Knight with the equalizer, and it would stay tied through the end of regulation. In overtime, it was Megan Keller for the Americans with the golden goal. Despite the loss for Canada, this rivalry continues to push the women's game to new heights.
These women are great athletes. They train hard, they prepare hard, they love the game, they have a passion for it.
With Canada's latest silver, it boosts our overall medal count to 15 with more podium opportunities on Friday. However, much of the attention will be back on hockey, a semi-final versus Finland. The Canadian men will get the chance to punch their ticket to the gold medal game. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Hockey officials in Saskatoon are blowing the whistle on inappropriate behavior from parents in the stands. CTV's Alison Bamford has that story.
It's just not right.
A reminder of what not to do at a hockey game. This video shows a parent on the ice addressing the referee during a recent Saskatoon minor hockey game.
Didn't attack him, but was still on the ice, which is totally not what anyone should be doing.
This happened to an adult official, but referee-in-chief Clint Joyce says there are many times when the young refs, 15 and under, take the heat.
It makes me sick to my stomach when I see and hear about verbal abusing kids. It's something we're trying to figure out.
Saskatoon Minor Hockey has a green armband policy that identifies refs under the age of 16 with zero tolerance for abuse, and new this season a mission statement for coaches, parents, and players to abide by.
Essentially, it was very simple. Our team will not yell at officials before the game, during the game, or after the game.
Leagues across the country face the same issue. Earlier this month, a parent in Ontario made a throat-slashing gesture toward an on-ice official. The Northern Ontario Hockey Association condemned the behavior, saying it will take appropriate steps to address these matters, which can include lifetime bans from local arenas.
We felt that we needed to send a strong message that, it's not going to be accepted, and that it will be dealt with.
In Saskatoon, the Minor Hockey Association says coaches and players have come a long way in respecting officials, and the next step is to address parent behavior.
So we're not naive enough to think we're going to nail every single one of them, that they're all going to behave perfectly, but the idea is to reduce this to a bare minimum.
Under Saskatoon Minor Hockey's Parents Code of Conduct, a first-time offender must take a Respect in Sport course, and a second parent offense could result in the player being suspended, something they haven't had to do yet. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Florida is welcoming the Toronto Blue Jays for spring training. The Jays are in Dunedin after last fall's heartbreaking Game 7 loss to the Dodgers in the World Series. The Jays have added new players for 2026, including Japanese star Kazumura Okamoto, while returning players like Ernie Clement and Addison Barger are expected to play even bigger roles. The defending American League champs play their first game of spring training Saturday against the Phillies. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, we tell you about Manitoba's popular meat bingo trend. Welcome back. It's bingo, but with meat, and it draws quite a crowd in Manitoba.
Yeah, my husband said bring home the beef, and I did.
More than 100 people settled into this Legion Hall in Beausejour. Meat raffles like this became popular during the Second World War, during food rations. And for more than a decade, the Legion has been hosting monthly meat bingo events, raffling off choice cuts of beef, pork, and chicken, and it's all for a good cause. Well, thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.